computer. Okay, here comes Katrina. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, Maria, for the feedback there. Here we've got Edna coming in. Okay, so I want to welcome everybody. We'll go ahead and get started. We may have a few pop in. My name is Dawn Monroe. I think I have met most of you in some capacity before. I am a certified Microsoft Office specialist, master level. So I've taken a bunch of those MOS exams. And I have been using Teams for a while. I've been training Teams for a little bit, but I've been doing that at companies where we would just focus on their needs and what their environment looked like. And what I have figured out is that, wow, there is so much customization available in Teams that this is a little bit challenging, a lot of bit challenging to offer in a public setting. And so I have been offering these sessions as a practice for myself and just an opportunity to for friends to learn about the Teams environment. My goodness, Danica's having some trouble getting on, so hopefully that one goes. I'm hopeful. Okay, so hopefully you can all hear me and see me, and we're going to go ahead and get going talking about Teams. I do have a slideshow today. I'm going to go through that, but I am going to get into Teams and show you some real life examples, but I just kind of want to go through some of the stuff first. So I welcome you to this session. Again, it is a bit of a practice for me, but you'll get some great information. I know you're going to get some value out of it, and I appreciate your time, and I would appreciate feedback. If you want to send me some honest feedback at the end of this, I would love it. So let's just talk about what Teams is. It is basically a collaborative workspace, and it's chat-based, so you can interact and communicate with your team. Your team, for the most part, is going to be your organization. So if you have like a company that has Office 365, now newly named Microsoft 365, then you are probably getting into Teams and starting to see some usage with that, maybe starting to chat and set up some meetings and use Teams for calls, especially these last couple months. People had to dive in whether they were ready or not. So you can use Teams in different ways. So there's different ways to access it. You can access it from a web, a browser window. You can access it from an app loaded to your computer, or you can also get onto your phone and your tablet, and you can never get away from it. It follows you home and follows you everywhere you go. So it's really a tool about organization and communication. Yes, you can invite people outside of the environment, and this is one of the situations I had. I'm a solopreneur. I am my own company, my own person. I didn't really have a team, but really recently I rented some space and right next door to a Microsoft Office partner. And so I have been playing Teams with them and getting to learn a lot more firsthand. And so that's where the knowledge and the learning really takes place, right? Is actually getting in that world and doing the thing. So talking in concept is one thing, but okay, so there are free and paid versions of Teams. They recently added a free version with everybody needing to get on. That became available. You get some storage with a free Teams. You can still set up an account with a whole bunch of people. The free Teams account and organization can actually have up to 500,000 people on the free system. Now, it's not robust. So if you are really going to be using that, and it's frankly, if I was using it for that large of a group, I would get the paid Teams accounts. But the Office 365, if you already have the Office 365 for Business, then Teams is part of that. It's part of that product. If you're in a school environment, an academic institution, their Teams looks different. I was on a Teams call with my friend Carrie recently, and she's over at the local school system. She does what I do inside the school. And she said, whoa, your Teams look so different than mine. And they just have some different options and different setups. So you'll notice that. And let's see, what else can I tell you? So with Teams, you get, if you have the Business Professional 365, you get 1 terabyte of OneDrive storage. You get another terabyte of shared file storage for your organization, 10 gigabytes per licensed user. So anyway, there's a lot of stats on all that. All you need to know is you can get 250 people on a video conference meeting if you need to. You can do online events for up to 10,000 with Teams. You can save any of the recordings from your Teams meetings to Microsoft Stream, and people can follow up with those. I will pause for questions occasionally. If you have one, maybe it's a good idea to throw it in the chat so we don't forget any questions that you may have. So when you get started, you're going to be adding in your people, you're going to be creating these organizational teams, and there's all kinds of setup initially when you get it going. Now you can add in contractors like me, people that you work with externally that still participate. The problem is they come in as a guest in your team. You got 3 different kinds of members on a team. You've got the admin, you've got the members of the organization, and then external people like me would come in as a guest on your team. Okay, any questions for me so far? Just a little bit about what it is. I'm curious, while you're thinking, if there's any questions, I'm going to bring up a poll. You should be seeing this on your screen. This is a poll that you can answer for me. Do you have, are you currently using Teams? I'm curious if you already have an account. How often are you using it if you do have it? And if you're not using it, are you using a bunch of other products, or what are you mostly using? Just kind of curious, get a read from everybody before we get too far. Okay, go ahead and vote. If you can see that poll, go ahead and do that. I am teaching this in Zoom today because Zoom is very friendly to people from all environments coming in, and it's easy for me to show things in Teams while I'm in here. Okay, there we got 100%. Thank you for everybody jumping in and voting. So most of you already have a Teams account, and most are trying to access it daily. Teams is something that you just turn on and you kind of leave it on in the background all day, because if people want to reach you and chat with you and interact, then you are going to want that on as you go. Let's go down here and see. A lot of people using Zoom, but we're using the other products too. Some are using Skype. Skype is morphing into Teams. So don't be surprised when that Skype goes away and all you have left is Teams. And I've made a handout for you. There's just so much to share with you. I can't possibly cover everybody's needs in an hour, but I've got a handout for you, and I've got a specific link on there if you are going from Skype use into Teams usage. That should help you. Okay, let me go ahead and stop that poll and close that guy up, and let us talk about a few more things. Let's see. Okay, so Cynthia's asking about channels. Kathy's curious about the app versus the web. And is there an app for teams, and the difference between the team members and guests? Okay, so we're going to talk about teams, and the channels are kind of subcategories within each team. And I'll show you some examples here in a minute. Let's go ahead and talk about the question, the app versus the web. So you could get a browser window open, and when I say browser window, I'm talking about like Microsoft Edge or Google Chrome. So you open a browser and you log into your Office 365 Teams account, and you can use it straight from the web. You can also download the whole app to your computer. That is the best one to use. Typically, you know this, if you've ever tried to like look at an Excel file through the app online, but when you open it up on the full-blown Excel on the computer, so much better, right? So I just want to, my vote is for the desktop app, and I've got both open here. I'll show you that here shortly. And we'll visit the other questions as we get going. But yeah, the team members and guests within within an organization. So the guests are people outside of the company. So you may have company ABC company, and everybody on ABC company, but let's say you have a HR person that you hire out, but they are connected with one of your teams. Okay, so that would be a guest on your internal team. Okay, all right, so I've got a screen up here about navigating around, and there's just some things I want to point out. You see that I have made these different colored boxes. So look there, there's a red box along the left edge. That's where you're going to navigate around. Activity, chatting, the actual teams that you can that you have access to. Your calendar comes in from your Outlook account, and it populates so that you can set up meetings and things easily with your teams. You can make your calls in here, you can add files in here, and you can use, there's going to be a lot of those ... ellipses, and on those you're going to be able to click and get different options, and you're going to see them everywhere. The ... has always meant, hey, you're going to stop and get a menu, you get to do more stuff. So whenever you've ever seen that in a file menu or wherever you have seen that ellipsis, it always means more choices. So don't be afraid to click on that and give it a go. Okay, so that red bar is for navigating around, and you see there's a help down there. I always like to locate where I can get my help. The yellow there, I've kind of made it bigger. This is going to be the top of a Teams window. You'll see that there is a funnel to filter out and be able to search for things. You're going to see you can put logos and icons for your team, or it just populates it with initials. You get a general and posts and files or wiki with your teams when you create them, and you get to populate and fill those things in however you need them, or delete them if you don't need them. In the blue there, you see another ellipsis that I've circled, and that is a menu for the actual team. And when you click on that, you see a sample of the different kinds of things that you can do with your team. And like I said, we're going to create one from scratch. I just kind of want to go through the things first so you can see them. There's also going to be a search bar at the top. One of the best things about Teams is you can search and find words from your chats, from all of your conversations, from your files. It's got a robust search feature. Okay, when you start building up teams, and a team can be your entire organization, could be one team. And there's going to be need for that. Maybe you're going to have a team that gets all the announcements and things. That's the everybody team, right? So you probably in your organization have one of those. Then within that main team, and you can make multiples, whatever kind of teams you need, then you can start adding separate channels. So channels could be like by department, or it could be by project, or it could be by a certain event that you're planning. It is going to look different in every organization. So this is something that you personally really need to think about, how your organization is going to utilize teams and what makes sense in your world. It may be completely different in the ABC company and the XYZ company, right? So one company may do things by department, another may do it by project work. Okay. All right. So the team is the gathering of people that are going to work together on the one main thing. It's like an umbrella. And then the channels are the individual topic areas, project, department, event, whatever it might be. Okay. Channels is where you're actually doing the work, frankly. So that's where the conversations are going on about what's coming up with the project and things like that. If you wanted to, you would chat with individual members if you need to. A chat is kind of like an instant message. Yeah, so a question's coming up about using the notebook in Teams. Oh, yes. I'm so glad you brought that up. I was working with a couple of my admin friends recently, and we started playing with OneNote within Teams, and it was so good. I've integrated it into our training. You've got to look at how OneNote works in Teams, and I'll be showing that to you today. Do the channels have to apply to all members of the team, or can you select certain people from the team? So you can actually have private channels with just certain groups of people. So yeah, that's a very good distinction. We'll play with that a little bit when we get in there. Every new team gets its own Office or Microsoft 365 group. So you know how groups can interact in different ways, like those are helpful to utilize in Outlook and things. Each team gets its own SharePoint online site, and a lot of people ask me about SharePoint and Teams and how that's working. SharePoint is what they've been using for years, and what they've done is develop Teams to be kind of a more user-friendly front for what's going on back behind with SharePoint. SharePoint is still there. We're still using SharePoint, but we get more user control with the team environment. Okay, so I've got some ideas, best practices with channels. You've got to kind of think about the intent of what's going to happen within that team and within that specific channel, who needs to be on it. You don't want to have a lot of extra people if you can help it. People don't want to be on every team they don't really need information about. So you want to be kind of selective about who is in each channel, because you don't want to be overwhelmed with too much. Remember that what you post in a team or in your team environment is public within that team, who's ever in that team, right? So be careful here. Maybe some things need to go through private chat. Okay, but the channels are also great for announcements and things too. Maybe we should jump over and do a few things, and then we'll come back in here so you can see. So let's just go play a little bit. We're talking about communicating, and we're gonna look at all that. So I'm going to jump over. I'm using Alt-Tab if you're not familiar with that on your keyboard. If you're a Windows user, Alt-Tab, I can jump around. So here is a sample of some teams. And I've kept this pretty clean for training purposes. So let's just go back to Dawn's demo. Let's go to the General tab. We'll get to that stuff later. So this is where you're going to navigate along the left. So activity is just showing what's happened recently. Chat is where I can get in one-on-one conversations. The teams is where I'm going to see the different teams I'm in within this organization. I want to say that again. If you get invited to an external organization's team, you're going to see that up top, up by your profile picture. Move that little guy. Up by my profile picture, I can drop that down, and I am a member of a couple other teams as a guest. So I have limited functionality when I'm a guest on a team. So being a member in the organization, a lot of that is controlled by the admin of the team and how the team is set up. When I come in as a guest, I have far less functionality. I might not be able to upload files. I might not be able to do certain tasks within their team, but I could participate in calls and things and chat as I need to. So it is helpful, but it is limiting. So that's where the difference is between the actual members within the organization versus external people that as I bring in as a guest. Okay, so you also see your calendar here. It is bringing up your calendar from your Outlook. Okay, whatever your Office 365 login account is, it's bringing that in here. You've got a calls area where you can add people, and this is where you can do a quick start. I've actually saved a few people to speed dial. If I have their email and their phone number, and if my business is set up to use the phone through the computer, I can do that. And I can start those calls. But here's an example. If I do not have someone's contact information, I cannot start a video or a phone call. I don't have the details there to be able to do that. So you can add your contacts in and you can speed dial people. And then here's a place where I can upload files. I can also get to a OneDrive account. Okay. The little dot, 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 that's where you go in and you can add things. And this is one of the best parts about Teams. You can add in all kinds of apps and things that make Teams work really nicely, that you're interacting with your people within the app. It's really nice. So that's where that's coming up from, the little ellipsis there. I'm going to go back to my team area, and when I'm looking at my team, when I use that dot, dot, dot here, here's where I can go in and I can manage who's on the team. I can add members and edit the basic team. Let's create a new team right now together with the little down at the bottom, join or create a team. Okay. So if someone had sent me a code for their team, I could type it in and join that way. Sometimes you do that. You give people the option to join. If you just blanket put everybody on the team and they don't really need to be on the team, you just thought you should include them, this gives them a chance to opt out if they don't want to. I'm going to create a team. Okay, I'm going to build it from scratch. You can start from one you already had. Build from scratch. You can make it private, you can make it public, you can make it the whole organization. I'll do public. Okay, and this is, we'll call this Sample Tuesday Team. You can describe it here if you want to. Sometimes you get so many teams going, it's helpful to do that. And then I simply just click Create. And here I'm ready to go. And I can start typing people's email addresses. As I do that, I'm going to see them populate as I type them on. So let's just start typing. Let's just do one of my group next door. Okay, so there is somebody that I can invite to the team, and so I can just type them in and then add them to the team. They'll get notified that they've been invited to the team. Okay, or you can skip this and come back to it later. I'm going to go ahead and add Bethany. She won't be surprised if she gets it. And then, so there she is now part of the team. I ever need to go back in there, I go into manage team, and I can see the members. I can add members from here, and I can see different things about my team that I need to look at. Settings, I could add that team picture, like up above on the demo one, I put the little sunshine. And then we can talk about different member permissions, what they're allowed to do, guest permissions, and just different things like that that you might want to look at. Again, not much time to dive deep into this, but there's a lot out there that you can look at to help you get going with these. But I just want to make sure you know how to create and get started. Then within the team, you always get a general tab, and it comes already with posts and files and wiki ready to go. And so you can start communicating with posts. So posts are conversations. Hello, everyone. When I make a post like that, this is something pretty interesting. It is really easy, and I've got a slide on this. When you want to talk to this person about this post, you want to hit reply. Down here, this empty bar starts a brand new conversation, and it is so close. It's easy to accidentally start a new conversation, which could kind of mess up. If you want to keep the train of thought going, you could reply to that one. Your files for this particular team can be stored here, and you can easily upload new files. Let's just grab one from my desktop here. If I've got a file, got a lot of workshops this week, so let's add the team's quick start guide. I'm going to send you those today when we finish. I'll add everybody's email in, and I'll send you those. But that's how you add the file. And then it's super easy once you have the file in here that you can do different things with it. So if it's something you use all the time, you could pin it to the top. Do you need to open it? Do you need to download it? What do you want to do with it? Okay. Also, you should get in the habit of actually you can share the link with someone. So it's much more efficient than attaching an individual file to an email and sending it to someone to put it in your team and then copy the link and send the link to somebody to share that file. You can co-author then. You can work on it together. Okay, so a wiki, it's just basically an empty page, and you can make this. I saw one suggestion that I kind of like, that you could actually title this like about our team, and you could just type a little something about what's the goal of this team or something. You could keep it for team goals or just an overview of the team. That would be good. What's cool up here is a little plus sign, and you can add different channels directly into this actual team. You can add the planner, you can add OneNote, you can add in an app and then work on files together in here. You can add a website. Let's do a website. Okay, and so if I had the website, let's jump out to my internet. Here I've gotten a couple of, Here's a great website that I like. It's called Custom Guide. It's got a lot of free keystroke guides for all kinds of applications. I'm sending you the Teams one today, but it's a great one to know. Now, I'm going to show you that I can get this. I've got Teams open on my web browser. You know, I was going to show you, I was using the app downloaded to my computer. This is the view in the web browser, and it's super simple to get to it here. It really looks very similar, but there are some differences. So I'm going to add my website from here, custom guide, and paste my link there. Okay, it's also posting into the channel about it. So there the website becomes embedded right in the team, and people can get to those keystroke guides, free quick references right from within the team. I know you can come up with some great uses for that. You could add a landing page for your event. You could do all kinds of things in here. Okay, good. I thought some of you would really like some of those customizable features. I'm going to jump back to my PowerPoint, because if I don't do that, I absolutely forget things. So this is actually reminding me right now. Just this week, they added a feature where the chat will pop out. You know how in your Outlook you could pop out an email message so it makes its own window. So here they've added that into the chat, so you could keep the chat popped out, which is kind of nice. Okay, all kinds of things there in the conversation when you start a conversation. So there's, you know, you can do formatting, you can add files, you can add your emojis and GIFs. They even have these cool sticker things where you can make your own kind of memes. I'll show you some before we finish today. It's kind of fun. Okay, so, oops, staying put. I thought I was moving. Here I go. Okay, conversations. Be careful, friends. Do not mix up the reply and start a new conversation. See how close they are? Super easy to do. Last time I taught this, somebody said, oh my gosh, I'm doing that all the time. So be careful with that. Okay. Okay, and files, I just gave you a little preview of that. You just upload files. It's a lot like using Google Docs or anything like that. You upload the files and then you've got them in there, and then you can copy links and share them and download them. Okay, so we're going to talk more about meetings and setting up meetings. When you schedule a meeting in your Teams, what's nice about it is it actually adds the team link on all of your meetings you schedule in here. So if you want to do that video call, you're ready to go. You can just do it. And you don't have to do anything special. You'll notice at the bottom of the calendar invite, it actually says join the team meeting right at the bottom of it. I had to go back and look at that. I've got it pictured here at the bottom for you in the red square, join Microsoft Teams meeting. So that's going to show up in the meetings you create in here that you can manipulate. Notice at the top, new meeting, details, which you fill out just like any old calendar thing, and then the scheduling assistant is there, and that's where you kind of play Tetris with everybody's calendars that's in the meeting. Notice you can add everybody within the channel. And I know I forgot to show you specifically about the channel. I'll do that too. But you can add the whole channel group into a meeting, so it's a little bit of a time saver there. Okay. Now, if you're starting a meeting, at first, when the COVID stuff kicked off, people were saying, I can see all my friends when I get on Zoom, but I only see 4 people on a screen when I get to Teams. Well, they immediately fixed that and added 9 people to the screen, but that's the max you can get on a Teams meeting, is 9 in the individual window. Your little buttons when you start a meeting look like this. Now you could be chatting with that person. If you want to change that right into a video call, you just click the video camera from where you are in the chat and it kicks up a meeting ready to go. Okay. And then when you're in there, you can, mute your camera. This is a lot like Zoom. A lot of you are Zooming already. You want to always know where your camera and your audio mute and stop are, right? It does keep a counter of the time, which is nice. You can share a screen, just like in your Zoom meetings, if you've been doing that. And a lot of that can depend on how your host has set up the meeting to go, if they want you to be able to have ability to share or not share. Again, 3 little dots, you've got more choices in there, so always peek in there. It never hurts you to click on that. You can chat within the meeting while it's ongoing if you need to, much like we do here. And if you want to see those participants, that's your little people button. The red with the telephone hangs up the call. Okay. And again, you can kick those off from all kinds of places in Teams. Look for the video camera, look for the call. Okay, so I'm seeing a comment about how people pop in and out. It kind of prioritizes towards people that are interacting and people that have camera on. That's what I'm seeing with these different apps right now, is that it is prioritizing people that are more active. Okay. So again, experimentation in your world. My husband works at a company and they just don't hardly ever turn on their video cameras. That's just not how they do things. So it depends on the environment you're in. And some, you may have a situation where they really want to have you visually seen. Okay, and when sharing the screen, can't see anything other than the shared screen. So you should be able to click the participants and the chat and bring those up even though you're seeing the participant window. So we'll experiment a little bit with that, but I can only do so much because I'm in the Zoom world today. Okay. Other questions on that? Anything I cannot answer as we go along today, I am going to follow up and I'm going to email everybody follow up. So you have any really specific questions you want to dive into, you put them in there and I'll dig deeper. Okay, it's important you'll set up your profile. Probably in your organization, your Office 365 account rolled right into Teams, so it's already probably picked up your picture and your email and pulling in from your calendar. But if you need to do any setup, you can alter picture in here. What's really important within your profile area is figuring out the little dots here. The green means you're available. Like I can see on mine right now, it knows that I am utilizing a web meeting right now. So my Teams has gone to the busy. Okay, so you can actually set a status message in here and you can go in and look at all your settings. You actually have the ability to zoom in here. There's a list of keyboard shortcuts, but I'm going to send you some as well. And if you needed to download and get the mobile app going, you could do that here as well. I want you to look at saved. You have the ability to save posts, and so that you can come back to things. You can come in here and look at everything that you've clicked to save. It's like making a bookmark in the big wide world of Teams, bookmarking it to come back later. Okay, so that I get a chance to get into the OneNote, I'll just keep going here and then we'll revisit everything there. Have fun with it. Sometimes people want to lock down the emojis and the memes and things, but I say admins, let us have some fun. And I think that helps people that are not loving the technology feel a little more comfort. The connectors, this is something I found that was really super cool. You can add a connector into your channels, and then you can connect with all these different accounts you might have. Like I happened to see that I had like, I put MailChimp in here, and I was looking at a few other options. You could add your constant contact. You could add your news channels, your RSS feeds. You can add all of those things into your channel. So let's jump back over to Teams and let's do a little bit of that right now. So I'll show you. I didn't go all the way here, but I'm on my sample team. Let us add a channel. If I click and add a channel, let's call this test channel. And then I get to set the privacy level of that. Is it private, or is it everyone on the team can see it? So here is answering the question on, can I have a channel with just certain people within the team? The answer is yes. Okay, so you can set it up, and I'll just leave it standard right now and add it. And then here you'll see the channel gets built right here, and then the channel has its own posts, files, and wiki within the team's general. So there's a general for the whole team, the big umbrella, and then if I have the channel under it, so this could be just the purchasing department, just sales, just HR, just accounting. So every department could have a channel, or you could divide it up totally different ways. Let's say you have an event planning company and you have this event and this event or this event. Maybe you do it by client project. If you're a construction company, maybe you have this building project, this building project, this building. Those could all be individual channels. It is going to depend on what's going on in your organization. You get to pick. Okay. If you ever need to make changes in that channel, get in the little ellipsis, and here's where you can manage it. You've got an email address just for the channel. You can get a link just to the channel. And here is the connector that I just showed you. I'm going to get into connectors and show you what I mean. So if I have some sort of account, so if I'm on the marketing team and we're sending out a lot of emailings, then I might load in that MailChimp, and so it gives me a status report. I don't have to log in separately to MailChimp every day to see the analytics. What I can do is come in here and pick whatever that is. Google Analytics, if you want to add that right into your channel, you can. I'm going to go ahead and click that now so you can see. Basically, you add it in, you just add it, and you end up having to log into your Google Analytics, and then it will bring that right into the posts of your team channel. Isn't that cool? I've had a lot of people get excited about these. Okay, so I'm not going to completely add it in. I've got some up here you can see already in the Dons. Let's see, in the general. So here are some samples. Here's one with Bing News, and I think I set it to go like once a day or once a week, something like that. I can't remember what I set up, but that's what that looks like. Here's one, Google Analytics. Here's one where I got a feed from a place, something geek. I can't remember the name of that one, but you can see I'm getting these regularly on wherever the ones that I added on. So you can see, you can go in and see your connectors. Whoops, that's on the test channel. Let's look at the one that has some. So here, here. Oops, I gotta get on there. I gotta get on the right place. There, let me see the connectors on the general of my demo team. And so here you can see the ones that I've added in are showing up at the top. Those are ones that I've added in. And then down here you can go shop, and they're adding more of these all the time. I mean, look how many there are. I'm only in the B's. So there's probably products on here that your organization is utilizing, and maybe you can add them in directly into the team. So you're getting Insta reports on whatever kind of status that you're trying to find. There's a connector for Salesforce. That's got to be handy for somebody out there. Okay, so you can explore that on your own, but a connector. So I can add things up top along the team there at the top in the status bar. I can also add connectors within the team post, the feed of it. While I'm here, I'm going to show you at the top in the search, if you ever want to find something by keyword, then you could type it here, and you could filter and search things out that way. You can also use that search bar. If you type a slash, it's got all these fun little commands in there. You can do slash somebody, slash call somebody, slash chat somebody. You can do all those things. You can also @mention. And if you do you can pull up things like there. Let's pull up the weather. Let's do city, zip code, or location. Okay, nice and hot today. So you can do all kinds of fun things through there. So don't miss those. It's kind of a fun little thing. Okay. Notice also there is a little gear down there to manage teams. If you click the little gear at the bottom where you join and create teams, you can come in and see here. You can also create the team from here. And before I go too far, also, if you wanted to make an announcement, that's actually hidden down here in the conversation. When you click the little A with the formatting, you can change the conversation to an announcement. Sample announcement. And it actually lets you put in a picture. Just for fun, we'll do it. Let's see, I've got some pictures, flowers. Let's just put in a flower. Okay, so an announcement you can put in your posts, in your team to, you know, get a little more attention than just a regular post, but it's kind of hidden in there. You might miss it. Okay. Sample. And you use the little arrow down there to send it, to post it. I do want to show, my toolbars get in the way. I do want to show if you wanted to do the stickers are the fun ones where you can pick one and then you get to, you can type something for the captions in here. So you can make your own memes. And some offices will lock down on these, but I think should leave them and let people have a little bit of fun to bring engagement. Okay, let's see. Let's jump back so I don't forget what I want to tell you. So there was sample of connectors. And you can record everything. I've hit the record in my Teams meeting and saved it. It saves it to Microsoft Stream, so you could actually, you know, make a whole thing of recordings if you needed to. It stores it there within your meeting, and you can get back to it and keep saving those. Let's talk about OneNote. Okay. Okay. I'm seeing a couple things. Can you coordinate scheduling meetings, utilize Planner into Teams? Yes. So I'm looking at that. Yes, you can coordinate Planner in Teams. Yes. Downloaded Teams on my laptop doesn't include the calendar feature. Okay. So it's not, Clarabelle, it's not picking up your calendar from your Teams. That's no good. You have the Office 365 account, and we can talk more about that later. Okay, I wanted to talk about OneNote, and I've got several screen captures here, and then I'm going to go do the things so you can see it. So this, in the blue box, that is a capture from my ribbon that I took right out of Outlook. So when I have an appointment, a meeting scheduled, and it's in my Outlook calendar, I can actually click this OneNote meeting notes on that calendar appointment, and it will integrate right over into my Teams. And here you see I have dropped that meeting right into Teams. It's put in all of the calendar appointment information. It's even give me a checkbox list of everybody that was invited, and I can check if they attend. My admin friends went gaga over this. So you can set up that meeting, 10 people are invited, click the meeting notes, it drops it into your Teams, and then you can take the meeting notes live right there in the team meeting with this all integrated. Okay, you can click to view those meeting notes from that, and decide, are you sharing the notes with the meeting, or if it's just private for yourself. You can decide those differences. So I'm going to take you out, and we're going to go do those things so you can see. We'll talk a little bit more about the Outlook pieces and how they are corresponding in here. So I'm going to jump over again back to my Teams. And let's look at the, okay, oh, we got some activity on our team. I've got a little notification. So Bethany, thanks for adding me to the team, Dawn. All right, so there she is. So let's give her a little heart. You can like the, or basically it's acknowledging that you got it with that set up. So, okay, to the calendar. So here's the calendar here. So let's say we're going to make a meeting for tomorrow afternoon, and I just drag to put that in here. Did you see how quick I did that? I just took my mouse and I just drug across the time where I wanted it, and boom, it pops right up, and I can start adding that meeting, right? I can add the people person by person, or I can add channels. You see it's bringing up my team. So if I had a channel, I could bring up just that channel to be invited to this meeting. Notice the scheduling assistant. So whoever else I invited to this, I would get to see. I didn't know which one I was doing. So I would get to see the different calendar pieces to try to fit in a meeting if I could. When I've got it, I just send it, right? And I can, when I do that, you'll see that that meeting, I'm going to open it back up. When I open that meeting, the join request is positioned there at the bottom. It's decided to think. Maybe it's because I didn't have people in it. See, while it's thinking, I'll turn on my fan. That's no good. All right, so let's look at this sample meeting that I did earlier. Okay, so here's one that I made, and down at the bottom of that meeting, it's got the joins link ready to go. So anybody that I invited would see that join the Microsoft Teams meeting. If we're going to do a call that way, then it is ready to go with whoever is participating. You do see you've got meeting options. You've got meeting options here. You've got meeting options here. You've got meeting notes here. There's even a whiteboard if you need to do that within the meeting. It's going to save everything that happens within this meeting, a chat, the files, the details of it, any notes that are taken, all of that can be stored here. But let's go out and look about how that works. I'll close that meeting. And let's go out and look at my Outlook. This is live Outlook, so maybe a little messy. Okay, so if, actually, I think I've got a window for it open. Let's see. I did not leave one open. All right, so if on my calendar, if you go over to my calendar, that sample meeting is out there as well. I'm opening that one up. There it is. So this is the sample meeting from my Outlook. Same link is there, ready to go. And I wanted you to see from here, you could join the Teams meeting. You could join it from here. You can go to the meeting notes here. And these are just those screen captures I was sharing. You can share the notes with the meeting. And what it does is it brings up the notebooks that I have created, and I'm going to add this meeting onto my June 9th team demo, and okay. Then I can go view those meeting notes. That is Microsoft 365. OneNote is a digital notebook, which is a part of the suite. They were going to just put it Windows 10. You could get the OneNote, but they kind of trimmed it down, and users didn't like it. They wanted the full-blown OneNote product, and I've got mine open. Let's go find it. Again, like with all of it, you can add the OneNote. You could get to it from the web, not as robust. You could get to it from the full-blown app, which is where I am here. And you can see that sample meeting, it put it in right here. You could take your notes in here. One thing I love about OneNote is it's you can just, you know, do pictures and screen captures. It's just like using a yellow notepad. You just can drop it in there wherever you need to drop it and move things around. Okay, my friends, we are at the end of our hour. I want to see, let's review these questions. If you want to open your mic and talk to me about it, then let's do that. How did you add the Teams button to your Outlook calendar? I believe that showed up, Clarabelle, when I got the Office account that included Teams. I had a personal account for a while, which did not include Teams, and then I got the business account, which did. But they have added the free Teams now, so I think you can get it, but it won't be as robust.
Okay, I'll try it.
Okay, and again, I'm going to send you some links that'll help you with whichever version you're using.
Okay, thank you.
What other questions? Help me go back through here and think about other things that we might want to add in. Well, here's someone coming in at the last minute. Okay, let's see. I'm looking back at the chat. Did we answer these things? Anything still left remaining for you personally? I'll review that chat even closer when we finish, and anything that I feel like I didn't answer fully, I'm going to speak to it in and try to help you resolve that. Did that help you at all? For some of you that are using Teams a little bit already, did you find some new things today that helped you? Oh, we want to talk about the planner. I see that. Okay. Go ahead, and if you have anything else to ask me, go ahead and bring it up there. Let's look at the planner. I'm going to add the planner in. I'm back in Teams. I'm going on that left edge. I'm going to click the ellipsis and add in the planner. I haven't spent a ton of time in here yet, but I plan to because a lot of people are asking me more about it. It is a task organizer. So I've been doing my tasks in Outlook. I'm going to start using Planner to do those and experiment with what I might want to do in here. So there I can add in tasks. Let's click on a new, oh, that's a new chat. And planner. Okay. So I have done nothing in my planner yet. So we'll have to figure out how to add things in the planner. I've just looked a little bit about it, but I haven't started using it yet. Add a planner tab to a team channel. So I'll find more about planner and I'll add that in your links. Okay. Good. Okay, so several of you are saying you did pick up some new things. I hope you did. If you need to reach out to me on something specific or you have some feedback that would help me build this up, I would love to hear from you. Mention planners not available for private channels. Ah, okay. So RJ is suggesting, oh, I think that's my friend Rick. So Rick is suggesting that planner not available for private channels. Good to know. Great. Okay. Anything else, my friends? Well, stay in touch with me. I'd love to hear from you, and you'll be getting something from me, a handout and several things that have good resources for you, keystrokes for teams, and other things I think you can use. So thanks for coming, everybody. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good